Great handoff and great cast on the day. I am joined by Fang after their victory over Dignitas. Impulse moving up the standings now. But I got to ask you, Fang, it's been a while since we've seen you. Now with the victory, how does it feel to get it? And how does it feel to really be back?
You feel pretty good, yeah.
How's it now with the camaraderie of the team? You guys have had to sub in and out Seraph. What does it feel like playing with the full team again?
I feel pretty good because we practiced so hard. Everyone put in the effort, so I expect a win today.
Well, expected the win. You guys got it. I got to ask you, Fang, where do you guys see yourselves coming now into the second part of the split? Where do you feel like Impulse can end up in the standings?
I think if everyone keep working hard, right, we definitely play a team.
All right, it sounds great. One more question for you. It's going to be a tough week next week. Echo Fox looking good, and you have Counter Logic Gaming. How are you feeling, and how are you going to prepare?
I think it's same thing. We just need to working ourselves and keep working hard, and we'll be ready for them.
Keep it simple, keep it easy. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck in the future. We're going to throw it to the analyst desk to break down the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Rivington. 45-minute game.
Yeah.
I think most of us look at that, we go, oh my goodness, this is so much slower than our average game. But this is not to forget the importance of this game, right? These are two teams, 3 and 6, and I have a feeling that some of the slowness of the game was because of the weight that should have been carried with two teams with identical records, with the head-to-head record on the line moving into the postseason.
Yeah, also keep in mind it was a very close game throughout, so unless someone makes a big mistake to fall far behind or makes a big play to pull far ahead, 45-minute games are going to happen. It's not like we're 65 minutes in here, 70 minutes, 80 minutes to dream. 45 minutes, that's really not that long.
Yeah, we also
that used to be like our average game time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and we're also seeing pretty much, we've seen a lot of malfight today. We've seen a lot of things that start fights off and hard engaged. You're pretty much relying on TIP when they have a lead to land a Bard ulti, and it's on gate at that point to really get the perfect fight for them. So it does take a while for that to eventually come into TIP's hands and they find it, but it's definitely a big problem with these games is the lack of engage when you have a lead.
Absolutely. Speaking of Bard ults, the final fight, I want to take another look at it. Starts with the Bard ult, on to Shifter, gets caught out. We have a replay of that. We're going to pull it up for you. And exactly as you mentioned, part of the reason why it went so long was we were waiting for this initiate.
Yeah, Gate was heavily targeting Shifter with Bard ults the whole time, and they actually have a very good flank set up here with Mash and the Rek'Sai coming in from the backside. And Team Dignitas was actually already down in this game, which made it a little bit scary that they were in this position to fight in the first place. Apollo just doesn't have enough damage by himself since they could take out the Victor at the beginning of the fights. And it was a smart game plan, right? Because Poppy can only do so much damage with the tank build. Really, it's a two-threat team for Team Dignitas, and if they can consistently shut down Shifter, the fights are easy, no matter how big Apollo got.
Yep, so ultimately, a solid victory there for Team Impulse, and importantly, Fang's first victory with the team. You know, I think it's very important that they did pick this up to showcase that with their full roster, without Seraph hard carrying the games, that this is still a very competitive roster and looking to make moves, and as he mentioned, contend for a playoff spot. On the side of Dignitas, still plagued with some trouble here, and is there anything that's easily identifiable as the major crux in the strategies for Team Dignitas?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think we're seeing some good things out of Shifter. We're seeing Apollo still being consistent, but then we aren't really seeing. We're seeing inconsistencies. The big thing.
Yeah.
It's just every other game. It's kind of like this guy's doing well. Well, Fang's doing well this game. And
Apollo looks like the best player on the team.
Yeah,
for one.
Yes.
And we knew coming into the season the Team Dignitas didn't bring in superstar imports. They brought in Smitty J and Kirei. Yeah. Then Smitty J also is off the team now, and Billy Boss is definitely not your superstar import. So it's not like they have, it's not like they just need to get around their mental block, or they just need to communicate better.
Right.
A lot of these players just aren't as good as the person that they're going up against in lane, which is a really hard thing to overcome. But if they play better as a team, they can pick up wins. They've proven to pick up wins in the past. It's just going to be very difficult.
So it's not the story of individuals who are all talented in their own right, meshing or melding together like TSM. This is just a story of a team that needs to improve together, right? Across the board, they need to make improvements in order to stack up against the rest of these teams.
And Fang was talking about if everybody continues to put in hard work, that they can be a playoff squad, and I don't doubt them in that. I think that they can definitely push for that. We've seen some good things out of them, especially when Seraph was on the squad.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Seraph making those plays, right? He made the plays that would initially start those fights, but a lot of these guys were following it up. We saw Purian have really good mid lane play. We see Proxen, diving his middly, but his early game control was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do actually want to go back now. I want to return to the game time point. Only to look at it through the lens of Team Impulse, who played the game to their win conditions, right? So explaining why it went so long was that they were looking for the right initiation. It was a close game. They needed this victory. And so it's hard to fault them for not making a giant stab at anything. There were cautious Baron calls or starts with peels, right? We didn't see any massive throws, and that's really what it was. A lot of posturing in this game.
And let's remember the day we just had. We had Immortals playing Cloud9 in Game 3, and we're just like, oh, yeah, these guys are real slow, right?
Right.
That was like a 50-kill game in 30 minutes. We're never going to get that in back-to-back games. So
I want it every game.
The excitement that happened in Game 3 made these games feel slower than they actually were. Like, the Game 4 was, what, like a 15-kill-2 Liquid victory, and it was 30 minutes. We were like, man, it's really dragging along here. But, like, it wasn't. If we didn't have that third game, our experience wouldn't be so skewed.
Well, even like the Echo Fox Energy game, right, where there's like an explosive fight with the Malphite ultimate really early on in the game, you're just like, wow, that blew up really fast, and then it just kept snowballing from there, where this one's just like, all right, it's even, and you think that teams being even builds tension at that point, but people are just like, nobody's really doing a whole lot that would create that tension to give you a lead or like taking a big risk. There was a lot of baiting around Barons, like you said, and the threat of a 5th dragon eventually could be a possibility.
6 dragons have fallen in the hands of these players.
It really was, right? Yeah, the cast was going in some direction there. But ultimately, I actually really like the point about the champions that were played in here and contributing to that as well. We had seen so many explosive champions earlier in the day, not so many here, and that is a big contributing factor to everything slowing down. All that being said, a very nice win for Team Impulse to pick up, move their head-to-head to 2-0 against Dignitas, moving in towards the postseason. But let's